We have an equation that looks a little bit more complicated, and to be a little silly here, we're like, ooh, why don't we like it? Well, this y minus 2 everywhere makes it more complicated. So I'm going to call that ugly. We're going to call out the ugly. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. Ooh, ooh, you ugly. Just for you. All right, so we have y minus 2. So I'm going to use u for ugly. So I'm going to say u is equal to y minus 2. Okay, so calling out the ugly, I'm going to go through and replace all the y minus 2's with u. So this becomes u squared minus 10u plus 9 is equal to 0. Now it looks more like something we're used to solving. We could use quadratic formula, we can factor, we can use completing the square. I'm going to go with factoring. We've been factoring for a long time, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. U multiplied by u gets me back to u squared. Two numbers that multiply together to get positive 9 and add up to negative 10. That's going to be negative 1 and negative 9. And then set each piece equal to 0 using our 0 property. So u minus 1 is equal to 0. U minus 9 is equal to 0. Add 1 to both sides and u equals 1. Add 9 to both sides and u equals 9. Now when we're solving this, we're trying to find what y equals, and we found u. So I want to come over here and I need to replace the u back with y minus 2. So this u right here is going to turn back into, God bless you, y minus 2. And this u right here is going to turn back into y minus 2. So finishing solving by adding 2, y is equal to 3. And finish solving here, get rid of minus 2 by adding 2, so y equals 11. Okay, so a strategy that we have, we see these duplicates, so we're going to call out the ugly. In other words, just replace that part that's more complicated with the variable u solve. But don't forget in the very end, you've got to go back and replace the u with what you called it to begin with. Okay, so here's an extra example of that. At first glance, you don't see the duplicate, but we can rewrite y to the 4th power as y squared to the power of 2. Power to a power. Multiply, yeah, so 2 times 2 is 4. So y to the 4th is the same as y squared squared minus 6y squared plus 8 is equal to 0. So what's making this one ugly is this y squared. So calling out the ugly equals y squared. So I'm going to go in and replace every y to the second with a u. So this becomes u squared minus 6u plus 8. Now we have a simple quadratic to solve. So thinking of two numbers that multiply together to get 8, but add up to negative 6. Nice job, negative 2 and negative 4. Okay, so it's factored. We're going to set each piece equal to 0. So just taking a second here to write that down. All right, add 2 to both sides, and u equals 2, and u equals 4 when I add 4. But we're solving for y, not for u. So I've got to come back to this and turn each u back into y squared. So this becomes y squared equals 2, and y squared equals 4. Danger, right? If you're going to square root both sides, don't forget your answer is both positive and, oops, squeeze in my equal sign there, equals both positive and negative square root of 2. Sorry, that's kind of sloppy, plus and minus root 2. When I square root this one, okay, y equals both positive and negative, but the square root of 4 is 2. So because I wrote this a little messy here, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite. My answers are the square root of 2, negative square root of 2, 2, and negative 2. All 4 of those are my answer.